Alright, here's my Maya. Do you guys need the net support showing the screen? Yeah? I'm gonna bring in the line break. So you can use cut up or the line break. It doesn't really matter to me. I will just use the line break. Okay, reference. Here is the rate. Let's change these settings together, okay? Beside the left belly, there's a blue cross. It's called the FK IK spine. So let's switch that to IK. For the neck, I would just use FK. I mean, I'm more familiar with FK than IK. It depends on the case anyway, you know. After we switch it, you wanna take a look at how it works. You know, because if we work with IK, you can stretch out the head a lot. These green flower shape, I call it, I don't know, man, star shape, flower shape, control curves. You can, when you animate, you can put these as a rotation, and you can animate the head as a cheat. So here's how I would do it. Here's how I can do it, right? Select the head control, and you see global. If you turn it to 10, it means the head rotation should follow the global. Oh, actually, it's following the world. You see, when I animate the chest, when I animate the neck, it's not following the neck. Look at this. So if you're good enough, if you can maintain the neck volume, you can switch your head to global 10. I would just put it to 0 for now. So that's that. Follow base. What does it do? It doesn't do anything. Okay, so there's the IK hip. On his paw, there's this circle. It acts like a foot roll, ball roll, and there are individual toe controls. And there's a red circle underneath, and this is acting like a toe lift. These crosses, they are the pull vector. And then you have these skin controls, and I never use it, to be honest with you. So if you want, you can put all these paint controls into a layer and hide it. I'll give you guys like 15 minutes to play with the rig. Okay? Don't spend time on anything else, because this is animation class. Alright, so this is called gettyimages.ca. It has a lot of reference videos. Of course, you can always go on YouTube and download your own. Let's take a look what they have, okay? So, lion, run. See, these are really good reference. Is this real? Oh, this is so fluffy, we can't use it. Let's look for a female lion. This slow motion, so we can't use it either. I mean, we can use it for muscle jiggling later on when we want to go into details, but we can't use it for real speed. Oh, this is pretty good. This is very powerful. Okay, let's download this. Don't show again. Let's see. Man, they're so strong, eh? This is pretty useful too. Are you guys looking? You guys are looking for the lion run, right? Maybe search something else like female lion run. Now this is more like a cheetah. Oh, this is so cute. We can use this. Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay. So now I'm gonna move this to my sync sketch. Here's the link. Oh, how can I share this to you? Yeah, of course. Hang on a second. Discord. Where's my Discord? Discord. Screens. Nope. Oh, come on, man. Okay, so when we watch this reference, you can start with the first foot that is creating a contact, okay, which is at frame 97. First thing we want to go through is how many frames for one cycle, right? It's just a reference, you know. So I hope this is 24 frames per second. I'm not sure, but let's count from 97 until 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3. So I'll say here, this is pretty close. Yeah, the pose is not too much of a difference too. And because this is not really like a high-res video, so what we can do is we count. Okay, it is frame 1, right? Let's say frame 0. Okay, frame 0, and then in 2 frames, the front leg is going to come down, right? Frame 2. So how many frames is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Frame 8, the back leg is going to come down. And then frame 10, the left back leg is going to come down too. Okay? So, and then when we look at this reference, we want to look at the height on the chest. Okay, so let's say this height in here, right? It's this tall, for example. How do you tell whether this is a high point or low point? Then you have to look at the whole reference, and then think about like, okay, it comes up to maybe this is the highest point, right? And they start to come down. So this is not the lowest, right? So let's find out the lowest point. The lowest point is here, right before his right foot is taking off. You can think about like this is more like this kind of pose, okay? And in the next frame is pushing it off. That's why in these 2 frames there's a difference. You see that? All right, it's kind of pushing it off, and then the chest is going to come up, and then it starts to come down. So this is how we observe this whole reference, right? Now I'm going to put it away, go to my Maya. I am going to set keys on all the controls, no matter if I want to animate or not. Set key at frame 0. It's going to be how many frames per cycle? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 12 frames. Okay, so in the first frame, we want to animate how his first foot is on the ground, which is the front left. And of course you can export this as an image sequence and put it in your Maya. That's fine with me. Okay, we don't want to animate this group up and down, okay, because it will bring the whole body up and down. So what I usually do is I would bring the chest a little lower, and then for his front leg, this before the contact is kind of in the front. I know this motion blur, and then you kind of wash the shoulder. It seems it is like around here, right? Push the shoulder up a little bit. All right, there. And what is 2 frames after? Boom, boom. 2 frames after, his front left is stretching out already. So this is almost like taking off, right? So in 2 frames, it's traveled this much of a distance. But then we can just stretch it out like that, right? Because his chest is also coming down. Remember how we look at the chest? And then his other leg is in contact too, so let's put that in. So this foot is kind of in mid-air, somewhere like that. Alright, we just want to put in the blocking right now, and then later on when we final the shot, we want to look at the slow motion clip and see what is the details. I knew they were going to do this kind of stuff, like pause kind of high, somewhere like that. You want to push their feet kind of closer to the center. Okay, we can stretch this shoulder, we can push the shoulder down a little bit so the leg is more stretched out. And then we can also use the foot roll to give it the toe lift to give it more space. See, if you ever hit some point like that and it's snapping out, don't overextend it, okay? Because it's a lion. It's not like a robot. It won't stretch out max. Somewhere like that would be good. So these are 2 frames, okay? And then after 2 frames, so which is frame 4. His right front leg is also stretching to the max behind him. So let's put that in 2 frames after. Now as you see, I don't want to calculate to a very accurate distance for this kind of cycle because it's happening just 2 frames. We can always eye match it later on. For the shoulder, you can push it down a little bit. It's not that hard, right? Because if you're following step by step, it's not like difficult. Okay, so right now I'm on frame 4. Now, as we last watched the video from 97, we look at the we look at the chest, which is coming down, boom, 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 and the lowest point is at frame 100, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, right? When the leg is bent before you push off. So we should put that in. So lowest is at frame 3, and the other leg is slightly bent, which is like this. Good. Okay. Now, because we put that up and down in, you can go to your graph editor, and we can look at the translate Y. We can do a kind of cleanup in here, right? Cool. And then we want to animate the front part of the body first. So after you push off, boom, boom, you see this beautiful in-between pose. Let's put that pose in. There's frame 5, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Frame 8. And because I picked this, because this is also the highest point of the chest. Okay, so you can raise the chest a little higher. The front left is already in the front, and the right leg is curling in. Are you guys opening the same sketch too? Yeah? Okay. Then I can put it aside. But can you put it on your... yeah, stop presenting. To get an accurate result, we want to go to the side view. So we can compare the angle of the forearm and paws, how much it rotated. Cool, so now we got that. Then we can really look at how the paw is when it's traveling. So can you look at my screen? Let's pay attention at the front leg. I'm going to draw out in blue color. No, that's just green. Green is easy to watch. Green. Alright, so what the hell? There. Okay, so there's green, boom, boom, boom. Okay, when we turn on the ghost, you see how it's traveling? Alright, so we kind of want to get that movement in our shot. So let's focus on one leg. Now back to basic rules here. When it's traveling backwards, we still want to make it linear, even we don't count how many meters it's going forward, you know. But let's keep it linear. So boom. Frame 3. In my reference, it is going back, going back, going back, but it's kind of lifting up, and then it lifts up at frame 4, curl in, boom, boom, boom. Okay. That, boom. I keep the curve linear because I know it's not stopping at mid-air. So we can save this to the last key. Okay, so what happens 2 frames before it lands? It kind of keep in the air for a little while. Okay, so this is the most stretch out, which is 2 frames before the cycle ends. Most stretch out, boom. Boom. Okay. For the up and down of the chest, we're going to set the key at the end, same as the first key. We're going to tune it a little bit. Make it a little higher maybe. There. There. Okay. See, this is kind of like snapping down. We don't want that. So we want to reduce frame 10 maybe. When you look at the chest movement on my screen, you can feel the tempo going on. So let's figure out the other leg. Same thing as how we look at the front leg. This time let's use pink color so it's easier to look at. Okay, boom, 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 boom. Whoa, this is really hard. Boom. This is the shading it is. Boom. 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 You see how the difference is? Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Right? It's exactly 2 frames offset. If you're lazy, you can just copy it and then slide it 2 frames. But I'll just keyframe it so it's more organic. When it's on the ground, I'll keep it linear. Is this okay so far? I'm going to save this because I have a feeling it's going to crash. Because most people, when they look at reference, they were just watching it. They didn't really study the reference. Even when you do your own acting, this is what we kind of did last term, but we only look at main poses. We didn't look at how the shoulder goes from a low point to high point. But when we watch a lion like that, we only have 12 frames to look at, and we really need to pick out whatever details is in there, right? And then later on we look at the slow motion to figure out, oh, okay, how's the toes, how's the shoulders, elbows, and all that. I'm gonna pause. Okay, so same thing. Let's find out. You know what? Because we're doing the hip anyway. Boom, boom, boom. Let's find out where's the contact on the first. The first contact point for me is his right back leg at frame 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Frame 7. So I'm just gonna go to frame 7. First contact point. Boom. Actually, it's frame 8. Frame 8. Frame 7 is still in mid-air. Frame 8, when it's right below the hip. Right below the hip. So frame 7 would be around here. And then also it's staying on the ground for 2 frames. 1, 2. And it's to its most stretchy point. Dude. You can use the foot roll here to make it a little more extend the circle there. Just a tiny little bit more room you can do there. And then it's going off air, boom boom, and then it's gonna come as a circle. We're gonna dot out, I'm gonna dot out that leg as a blue leg here. Watch it. So there, it's not contacting yet. That's the contact. That's the paw. You can tell the paw shape is like that, right? Boom. So watch how is this going. Okay. So if you want to track backwards, it will be something like this. Boom, boom. Oh, so blurry, can't see shit. Cool. When the foot is in mid-air, you can do something like, you can rotate the box, okay, like that. And then we can also count how many frames is staying in the air. So it would be around this height for 1, 2, 3, for a couple frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's not coming down. Okay. So and then I'm going to move on to the next foot, the last one that we're going to animate. And for the last one, I'm going to use yellow. So I'm off the ground, still on the ground. There's 10 frame in. Frame 10 is on the ground, right below the hip. Right below the hip. If this is the hip, It's right below the hip. And then it's going to be going for 2 frames. As you notice, I haven't animated the hip yet, so we will do that in a bit, okay? Okay, so look at my screen. Okay, there's no up and down yet, so I'm just following the videos, right? Then we can animate up and down. Based on my judgment, without looking at the video, this is how I'm gonna do this. Find out where it's coming down. For example, like at frame 12, frame 10, it should be kind of low because it's still pushing off, right? See? And then push off. Boom. You can see the hip going up. Boom. So there, and then it keeps going up. This would be the highest. So this is just a blocking, you know. So once you get the foot going correctly, you don't have to look at the reference, because if you have some knowledge about the up and down, it's just like bouncing, jump, okay? Next thing I want to show you, can you watch? Because there's something, you can observe it, of course, but I can show you right now. When you see how the foot is coming forward, right? What you can do here, rotate the hip forward like that. Then you can see it's kind of curling. Push it down a little bit. So there, boom. As it's pushing off, you can rotate the hip like that. So you see this motion, boom. And then up when it's in the air, let it rotate a little bit more. And you can see that it's acting like a spring now. Okay? So do that in the front. So there, give it some room, boom. So look at this. Okay. So do those 2 things. I want to animate a shoulder too. Do you guys want to wait till next class for the shoulder? Hey, I'm just gonna animate the shoulders, and then I'm gonna call it done. Okay. Before it comes down, I'm going to lower the shoulder. I'm going to work with the first contact leg. Boom. So don't have the shoulder pop up until the contact, okay? The contact will be a little lower. Boom, and then you can push up a little bit. As soon as it comes up, then you drop it down. Okay, do the same thing on the other side. I will use one control on the shoulder, don't use both, okay? So in the right view, I was using a top one. One thing I don't like about my animation is when the leg is coming forward here, it could go a little more aggressive, you know, like around frame 5, push it up a little higher, somewhere like that. And then frame 6, it could go over a little bit. Okay, same thing for this kind of animation on the hip. On the back leg, you want to animate the top here, just a little bit up and down. Or what you can do is animate the hip swaying, like sideways, twisting. So, like here, push it down a little bit, rotate it down a little bit, and then once you see the contact, rotate it up. There. Okay, and then last thing I want to do on this animation is animate the head. So let's go to the right view here. Head animation is kind of tricky because you don't want it to be overlapping too much. Let me look at the lion's reference. It's not overlapping a lot, you see? From my reference, at least. Okay. See, I'm trying to keep the neck distance. So I'll pause this recording